What if time isn't what we think it is? Every second, the clock ticks forward, but what if that steady rhythm is just an illusion? What if the moments you call the past still exist somewhere, frozen in a dimension you just can't reach? Yet, scientists say time travel is impossible. But the deeper we look into the universe, the more that word impossible starts to lose its meaning. Because what we've found challenges everything we thought we knew about reality. Think about déjà vu, that eerie flash where you're sure you've lived a moment before. Or the Mandela effect, thousands of people remembering the same event that never happened. Are these just tricks of the brain? Or are they tiny glitches in the timeline, echoes of realities that were never meant to overlap? For centuries, time has been the ultimate mystery, invisible, unstoppable, and untouchable. But what if time isn't moving forward at all? What if we're the ones being carried along a current that loops, twists, and folds in ways we can't yet comprehend? To understand whether time travel could ever be real, we first need to understand what time actually is. We think of time as simple past behind us, future ahead, a straight line, always moving forward. But physics tells a very different story. In the early 1900s, Albert Einstein shattered everything we thought we knew about time. He discovered that time doesn't flow at a constant rate. It bends, it stretches, it slows down and speeds up depending on where you are and how fast you're moving. Imagine two twins. One stays on Earth, while the other blasts off into space at nearly the speed of light. When the traveler finally returns home, they've aged less, maybe just a few months, while their sibling has grown old. That's not science fiction. It's called time dilation, and it's been proven. We've seen it in astronauts. We've measured it in atomic clocks. Even GPS satellites orbiting Earth have to constantly adjust for time differences because up there, time literally ticks faster. So time isn't the same for everyone. It's flexible, relative, a fourth dimension woven into space itself. Some physicists even believe all moments past, present, and future exist at once, like pages in a book. We only experience them one at a time because of how our brains are wired to perceive reality. If that's true, then the past never really disappears. It's still out there, waiting, which raises a haunting question. If all time already exists, is traveling through it really impossible? Or have we just not figured out how to turn the page yet? But if science opens that door, who's to say someone hasn't already stepped through? Every time scientists dismiss time travel as fantasy, the internet answers back with something strange, a story too bizarre to ignore. Take Andrew Carlssin, for example. In 2003, this man was arrested for turning a tiny investment into $350 million in just 2 weeks. Authorities were convinced he had insider information, but his explanation was even crazier. He claimed he was a time traveler from the year 2256, using knowledge of future stock trends to build his fortune. Then, just as mysteriously as he appeared, he vanished. No record of his release, no trace of where he went. To this day, some insist he returned to his own time. Then there's John Titor, the self-proclaimed soldier from 2036 who appeared on early internet forums in the year 2000. He posted blueprints of his time machine, warned of global conflict, and claimed the future was already fractured into multiple timelines. At first, people laughed, but as the years passed, some of his predictions, especially about rising global tensions, started to sound disturbingly accurate. And then there's the legend of Rudolph Fentz. The story goes that in 1951, New York, a man in 19th century clothing was found wandering the streets confused, frightened, and holding objects that didn't exist in that era. When police investigated, they discovered he'd supposedly vanished without a trace in 1876. Coincidence? Hoax? Or proof that something or someone had crossed the lines of time? Most scientists dismiss these as urban legends or internet fabrications. But here's the thing. Even if they were fake, the ideas behind them might not be. Because what was once considered impossible is starting to look mathematically inevitable. And if equations say time travel can happen, what's stopping it from already happening? Time travel isn't just science fiction, it's hidden deep inside the math that describes our universe. Einstein's equations show that space and time are woven together into one fabric. Space-time. When something with enough mass or energy bends that fabric, time itself bends with it. Black holes, for instance, don't just warp space, they twist time so violently that seconds near their edge stretch into hours, centuries, even eternity. Then there are wormholes, cosmic shortcuts, predicted by the same equations that describe black holes. Imagine folding a piece of paper so two distant points touch. A wormhole would do that with space-time, connecting not just two places, but two moments. The concept isn't fantasy. It's called an Einstein-Rosen bridge. And the math checks out. The only problem? It might collapse before anyone could travel through it. But modern physics is catching up. Experiments at the Large Hadron Collider show particles vanishing and reappearing in ways that defy time's arrow. Quantum entanglement lets particles affect each other instantly faster than light, as if they share information outside time itself. Even stranger, some quantum experiments hint that effects can occur before their causes, a phenomenon called retrocausality. It's as if the universe occasionally lets time flow backward, if only for an instant. So, maybe time travel isn't forbidden by physics. Maybe it's just beyond our current reach. After all, if time can bend, stretch, and twist, then why not loop? But the real danger isn't in getting there, it's what happens if you do. Because the moment you step into the past, reality starts to fight back. Let's say you could travel back in time. What's the first thing you'd do? Visit the dinosaurs? Prevent a tragedy? Or maybe change one small decision that's haunted you for years? Sounds tempting, until you realize that time isn't built to be rewritten. The most famous example is the grandfather paradox. If you go back in time and stop your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you erase your own existence. But if you never existed, then who went back to change it in the first place? The timeline collapses in on itself, an endless logical loop that breaks everything we understand about cause and effect. Then there's the bootstrap paradox, an even stranger one. Imagine a scientist receives blueprints for a time machine from their future self. They build the machine, use it, and go back in time to give those same blueprints to their younger self. The question is, who actually invented it? No one. The information exists in an infinite loop, with no origin. These paradoxes aren't just philosophical puzzles, they're the reason many scientists think nature itself protects the timeline. Stephen Hawking even proposed a chronology protection conjecture, suggesting that the laws of physics prevent backward time travel, no matter how advanced we become. But others disagree. Some say paradoxes might not destroy reality, they might simply split it. According to the multiverse theory, every decision, every change, every action creates a new branch of reality, an alternate timeline where events unfold differently. So maybe when you change the past, you don't rewrite your own timeline, you just create another one. If that's true, then somewhere out there, another version of you might already exist, living in a reality where your biggest mistake never happened. But if paradoxes can be survived, that means time travel isn't just possible, it might already be happening. And some scientists believe it's already been detected. For decades, physicists have hunted for cracks in the timeline, tiny hints that the universe doesn't play by its own rules, and some of what they've found is nothing short of mind-bending. In 1971, scientists flew 2 atomic clocks on jet planes around the Earth, one eastward, one westward. When the clocks landed, they no longer matched. Time had literally passed differently for each one, just as Einstein predicted. Today, your GPS system works only because satellites constantly adjust for this same effect. Time moves faster in orbit than it does on Earth. Without those corrections, your phone would be lost by miles every day, But that's just the beginning. In 2019, researchers recreated the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, and what they found sounded impossible. In certain conditions, a decision made in the present appeared to change the outcome of an event that had already happened in the past. Cause and effect reversed themselves, as if the universe allowed the future to whisper back to the past. Meanwhile, at the Large Hadron Collider, particles seem to vanish and reappear in ways that defy linear time. Some physicists even suggest these anomalies could be microloops, tiny ripples in the timeline that open and close before we can even detect them. And then there are the black holes, the universe's ultimate time machines. Inside their gravitational wells, time slows to such extremes that a few minutes near the edge could equal centuries in the outside world. To an observer watching from afar, anything falling in appears to freeze forever, stuck between moments, trapped between now and never. Stephen Hawking once joked, "If time travel existed, we'd already be surrounded by tourists from the future." But Hawking wasn't dismissing the idea, he was testing it. In 2009, he even hosted a party for time travelers, sending invitations after the event had ended. No one came, or at least, no one we could see. So maybe they're not tourists. Maybe they're observers, careful not to interfere, only to watch. And if that's true, how would we ever know? If time is just another dimension, then traveling through it might be as simple or as impossible as stepping sideways. But what if someone already has? Think about it. Every photo, every video, every fragment of history captured online, it's all data. And that data doesn't just disappear. It lives forever, somewhere in the digital void. Now imagine a civilization thousands or even millions of years ahead of us. To them, decoding our timeline could be as effortless as scrolling through a file. Maybe they don't travel through time in the way we imagine, no glowing portals or spinning wormholes. Maybe they simply access it. Maybe our entire past is already being watched, studied, replayed. Some scientists believe this could explain strange phenomena we can't account for, sudden flashes of déjà vu, moments where time feels out of sync, or the eerie sense that someone's watching when no one's there. What if those aren't hallucinations? What if they're side effects of something or someone observing us across the veil of time? And if that's true, then every decision we make might already be known. Every event, every thought, every heartbeat might exist simultaneously, all mapped out in the grand architecture of space-time. Free will could just be the illusion of walking through a movie that's already been filmed. But here's the paradox. If the future already exists, then it can't be changed. Yet, if it can't be changed, how can we make choices at all? It's a cosmic riddle, one that blurs the line between science and destiny. Maybe that's why time travel fascinates us so deeply. Because deep down, we're not really asking if time can be rewritten, we're asking if we can. Maybe time travel isn't about machines or wormholes. Maybe it's something we've been doing all along without realizing it. Every thought, every memory, every photograph is a way of preserving moments that no longer exist. When you close your eyes and relive a memory, your mind is traveling through time, not physically, but consciously. You're stepping back into the past through the power of awareness. And maybe that's the secret. Perhaps the true time machine isn't built from metal and energy, but from memory, emotion, and consciousness itself. Some physicists now believe that time and consciousness might be linked, that our perception of now is what gives the universe its flow. Without observers, there's no before or after. There's just everything, all at once. In that sense, we're not trapped in time. We create it. Every second we live rewrites the story. Every choice, every word, every heartbeat sends ripples through the timeline. You might think you're just one person in one moment, but what if your existence is the bridge between what was and what will be? So maybe time travel isn't a question of can we, but are we already? Because when you think about it, every dream that reaches forward, Every memory that reaches back is proof that part of us already exists beyond time. And if the universe really began from nothing, maybe that moment the birth of everything is still happening, right now. Again and again. In the end, perhaps reality isn't a straight line at all. Maybe it's a loop, and maybe the traveler we've been searching for has always been us.